Former Trade Undersecretary Ruth Castelo has been named as the newest spokesperson of the Office of the Vice President. Castelo's appointment comes after months of the Office of the Vice President not having a spokesperson or since Michael Powell left the position empty in November 2024. According to Castelo, she herself submitted her application to the Office of the Vice President to get the position. She then says that she will speak on behalf of the Office of the Vice President as an institution and Vice President Sara Duterte on her official acts as the second highest official of the country and as the leader of the office. Castelo previously served as Undersecretary of the Department of Trade and Industry from 2018 to 2023. Vice President Sara Duterte is accusing the government of prioritizing politics instead of overseas Filipinos stuck in Israel and Iran. In an interview at The Hague, Netherlands, Vice President Duterte criticizes the government's action in saving the overseas Filipinos stuck in the conflict between Israel and Iran.
Nakakalungkot kasi sobrang bagal ng galaw nila para sa ating mga kababayan na naiipit sa kaguluhan sa Iran at sa Israel. Kaya nakikita natin at nakikita ng taong bayan nasaan ba talaga yung priorities ng administration na ito. Apparently puro politika lang yung paninira sa politika lang yung kanilang prioridad at hindi yung mga mamamayan.
She was referring to the Department of Justice's recent announcement that it will extend financial support to witnesses who may be called to testify against her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, in connection with his drug war. The Vice President is currently in The Hague, Netherlands, to visit her father, who is under the custody of the International Criminal Court. Meanwhile, according to the Department of Migrant Workers, there are 25 overseas Filipino workers who arrived in the country on July 6 from Israel under the government's voluntary repatriation program. This brings the total of OFWs who voluntarily repatriated since the start of the conflict between Israel and Iran to 72. Meanwhile, more than 1,400 OFWs have already arrived in the country since October 2023, when Hamas-led militants attacked southern Israel. The ICC currently has custody of former President Duterte after he was arrested and sent to The Hague for crimes against humanity he allegedly committed during his administration's war against drugs. Senator Joel Villanueva revives his bill seeking to penalize any person spreading false news. The proposed Anti-Fake News Act was among the priority legislation that the senator filed into the 20th Congress. Villanueva also filed the same measure in June 2017. Under the bill, it would be unlawful for any person to maliciously offer, publish, distribute, circulate, and spread false news or information, or cause the publication, distribution, circulation, or spreading of the same in print, broadcast, or online media. The bill explains that such false news or information tend to cause panic, division, chaos, violence, hate, or tend to exhibit a propaganda to discredit one's reputation. Under the proposed bill, violators may face a maximum prison term of 5 years and a fine of up to 5 million pesos. Those who aid or abet the spread of fake news may also face up to 3 years in prison and a maximum fine of 3 million pesos. The bill also states that if the offender is a public official, they shall be liable for twice the amount of the fine imposed and be in prison for 2 times longer than the period initially provided. In addition, the bill also states that a public official shall also suffer the accessory penalty of absolute perpetual disqualification from holding any public office. Meanwhile, heavier penalties are being proposed against any mass media enterprise or social media platform that fails, neglects, or refuses to remove false news or information within a reasonable period after having knowledge or having reasonable grounds to believe of its falsity. According to Villanueva's proposal, they could face up to 20 years in jail and a fine ranging from 10 million pesos to 20 million pesos. It adds that if the offender is a corporation, the president, chief executive officer, and other responsible officers shall suffer the penalty of imprisonment. The camp of actress Gretchen Barretto says filing a complaint against the whistleblower who linked the actress to the missing Sabongeros case is not very helpful at this point, as people have already supposedly made up their minds. The whistleblower of the case, Julie Dondon Patidongan, also known as Totoy, accused Barretto and businessman Atong Ang of being involved in the case of the missing Sabongeros. In an interview with ANC on Wednesday, July 9, Barretto's lawyer, attorney Alma Malyonga, says her focus for now is repairing the damage to Barretto's reputation caused by the statements of Patidongan. Malyonga adds Barretto is downhearted by all of the recent happenings. She adds that filing a case now is not very helpful within the context of people having already made up their minds. Malyonga appeals to the public to be more discerning. According to Malyonga, Patidongan has no evidence other than his statements, which she describes as a fantasy, invention, and nonsense. Patidongan previously alleged that Barretto was an alpha member of the Pitmaster group and was aware of everything that transpired, including the abduction of the missing Sabongeros. Patidongan is formerly Ang's farm manager and right-hand man in his cockfighting operations. Patidongan also appealed to Barretto to help expose the truth and testify against Ang. However, Malyonga released a statement from Barretto last week in which the actress claimed she was merely an investor in the Pitmaster group and had no knowledge of the Sabongeros who went missing between 2021 and 2022.